Pipeline Studio is about understanding your workflow and knowing when it's running smoothly. What is a signal? A signal is meaningful information. Not all information is a signal, and not all signals are obvious. A signal is something that reduces uncertainty. It changes understanding. It helps you see what matters, what is changing, or where something is moving. This distinction is easy to miss. Most information does not do this. Most information simply exists. It fills space without altering perception. A signal only exists within context. The same piece of information can be meaningful in one situation and meaningless in another. A number, a comment, or a reaction may feel important on its own, but unless it changes how the system is understood, it is just data. Signals are rarely loud. They don't announce themselves. They don't arrive labeled as important. Most signals appear early. They are subtle. They are incomplete. And they are easy to dismiss. This is why signals are often missed. They don't demand attention. They quietly invite interpretation. A signal does not explain everything. It does not provide certainty. It points. Its value is not in answers, but in direction. Good signals narrow focus. They reduce cognitive load. They help distinguish what deserves attention from what does not. In creative work, signals answer questions like, is this meaningful? Is something shifting? Is this aligned with the original intent? But signals are fragile. They can be overwhelmed by volume. They can be distorted by emotion. They can be buried under excess input. When too much information arrives at once, signals don't disappear. They become harder to recognize. This is where confusion often begins. People assume the problem is a lack of information. In reality, the problem is often the opposite. More data does not create clarity. More data often creates noise. Signals are not about completeness, they are about relevance. They don't tell you everything that is happening, they tell you what might matter next. This is why signals feel uncertain. They require judgment, they require patience, and they are easy to ignore when attention is fragmented. A signal may feel too small to trust, too early to act on, too ambiguous to prioritize. But signals are not instructions, they are indicators. Recognizing a signal does not mean responding immediately. It means noticing that something has changed. Before anything can be improved, optimized, or adjusted, the signal has to be seen. And seeing a signal starts with understanding what it is, not more information, not louder feedback, just meaning, emerging quietly inside context. Signals are also shaped by perspective. What appears meaningful to one person may register as insignificant to another. This does not make the signal wrong. It means signals are interpreted, not discovered. This is why signals can be misread and why they can be ignored even when they are present. A weak signal is not a false signal. It is simply early. Early signals rarely feel convincing. They lack reinforcement. They lack confirmation. They often contradict expectations instead of supporting them. This creates discomfort. Humans prefer clear answers. Signals offer possibilities. They suggest that something may be changing before it is obvious. They hint rather than conclude. Because of this, signals are often discounted in favor of louder inputs, more frequent feedback, more visible activity, more immediate response. But volume does not equal importance. A signal does not need repetition to be meaningful. It needs relevance. In many systems, the most valuable signals appear when very little seems to be happening, when activity slows, when patterns begin to shift quietly. This is also why signals are difficult to capture after the fact. Once outcomes are clear, the signal feels obvious in hindsight. This concludes this session. Let what you've heard settle before continuing.